Lock your doors. Keep your loved ones near. Time is running out. It's here for fear.
Welcome. This is Ear for Fear, and I'm Donovan.
And I'm Rick.
And this is the podcast where we talk about scary movies or movies trying to be scary.
Today we're going to be talking about 2009's Drag Me to Hell, directed by Sam Raimi. So basically, Christine is a loan officer at a bank. She's worried about her lot in life. She's in competition with a colleague for an assistant manager's position and isn't too sure where she stands with her boyfriend. Worried that her boss will think less of her if she shows weakness, she refuses an additional extension on a mortgage to an old woman who now faces foreclosure and the loss of her home. In retaliation, the old woman places a curse on Christine. With the help of a psychic, Christine must try and rid herself of the demon, but faces several hurdles in her attempts. Will Christine survive, or is her extension up when the demon tries to drag her to hell?
This is a good movie. I like Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah. We both agreed on this one, like 100%.
This is like the third time I've seen this movie.
Yeah, this is probably 4 or 5 for me. So this is a movie we definitely seen in the past that we both really like. And what's interesting is it's a movie that I never hear any bad things about it, but I don't hear people talking about it a lot, which is crazy to me because it's such a good movie.
You think this would come up in conversation a lot just for the fact that Sam Raimi has only made like 2 movies in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
And then one of them was his return to horror.
Yeah.
Like the last movie he made was Oz.
Yeah.
The movie before that was this movie.
Yeah.
So there's been like this 6-7 year gap now where he has not made a movie.
No.
And the movie before that movie, which Oz was so.
Yeah.
But Drag Me to Hell is a classic.
It's a great movie.
Especially 11 years now into the future, we can look back at this movie and be like, yeah, this movie was great.
Yeah.
And I do wish we had more movies like this. In fact, I wish we had more Sam Raimi movies like this.
Yeah, me too.
Because Drag Me to Hell and Evil Dead like occupy like this like horror comedy slapstick cartoon thing that we saw in Dead Alive that we just don't see very often, where the movie's having a lot of fun and not taking itself too seriously, where you can be scared because there are plenty of scary scenes in this movie and then be laughing in the next scene.
Yeah.
I love this movie. Yeah. And when I say I've seen a movie 3 times, these days I almost never rewatch a film. Almost never. So the fact that this movie has like an average of once per 3 years rewatch type of statistic is actually really impressive.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
But you've seen this 4 to 5 times.
Yeah. I saw
Where have you found the time to watch this movie that many times?
I saw it at the theater when it came out in 2009. And then I think I watched it again when it came out on, let's say, DVD. Then I bought it last year. I bought the special edition. I think it's from what is it, like Shout Factory or one of those, which is a really cool special edition Blu-ray. And then I watched it again recently, and I love this movie. It's a movie where it's like I wish he was doing more of these, and I get it. I mean, you started in the horror genre, and then you kind of branched out and you did the Spider-Mans and some of these other movies, but this one is like his like return to horror, and I wish he would just stay here instead of doing stuff like Oz. I think did we hear he's rumored to maybe do the next Doctor Strange? I think is that. I think that's a rumor, right?
You would know more about that than I would.
Yeah, no,
I've seen a few names pop up for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he's rumored to possibly direct it, and that's fine. I think that would be cool. But I wish he would just stick with horror, but I know he's not going to do that. So
I don't think any one director needs to stick with a particular genre.
I think I'm being selfish. That's really what this boils down to is I'm being selfish because I love all his. It doesn't mean I hate his other movies. I just love the horror stuff better. And then when he took that long break from say Army of Darkness and then did this one, it was great. It was like, oh my gosh, he's back, and it's fun because I know he directed an episode I think of Ash versus Evil Dead, which is cool. I mean that's fine, but I just wish he would. I wish he would do more stuff like this.
Me too, and I agree with you when it comes to that selfish aspect. I find this movie so enjoyable.
Yeah.
I want to see more of it.
Yeah.
This movie is a clean 95 minutes. It does everything it wants to do in a very short amount of time. And it's an amount of time where I wish it was a 2-hour movie. Not saying that the movie would be better for it.
Yeah.
But just I wish I can spend more time with these characters and this world that he's created.
Yeah, I felt
with him and his brother Ivan Reitman.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Ivan Raimi.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Reitman would be a different.
Yeah, I know.
It would be a different director, but yeah. I felt it was a good running time. I didn't feel it was too long. I didn't feel like it was too short. I enjoyed it. It was super fun. I mean, even from the title of the movie, Drag Me to Hell, is just a killer title.
Yeah. It's a log line and a title all in one. It's the pitch. You know what this movie's about. Someone's getting dragged to hell.
Yeah.
And when it comes to openings, this movie kills it.
This
movie's
awesome.
The opening's like 2 minutes long, gives you the entire movie in like miniature, and is like amped up to like the 11th degree and is awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So the beginning is this family, husband, wife, or mom and dad, I guess how you look at it, pulls up to this kind of bigger home. I don't know if you call it a mansion, but a bigger home. They have their son they have him in the bed of the truck. I think they did.
I don't remember.
I think that he was wrapped up in a blanket, and they're of course freaking out. They're banging on the door and they're explaining this. This woman answers the door, and what would you say she is? Maybe 25, 30. And they're talking with her, telling her, hey, he's hearing voices type of thing,
What's funny about the universe, so let's do a quick comparison to our universe. Superstitious stuff is, well, I'm of the opinion that this stuff doesn't exist. I think a lot of people would be. In this universe, these supernatural elements, heaven, hell, demons, etc., all exist.
Yeah.
Clearly something is wrong with the boy.
Yeah.
We don't know if they've exhausted all options, but if they're coming to this person on the third day, clearly they've done the work. And now they're reaching out to a spiritual advisor, someone who has clout. Enough clout to, I don't know if for sure, but does she own this giant mansion?
I think it's like a family, like it was part of her family. I think
so, like
later
even,
on, yeah.
Because like later on in the movie, we hear that we learn that this mansion was built atop basically a rift of like energy where demons are able to easily pass through, not just demons, but all types of spirits.
Yeah. So
like it's like a doorway.
Yes. Like a doorway. And I'm getting the impression that this was a family owned home and maybe it's just passed down or something.
Yeah. Not even necessarily owned, but even built. Like they built it.
Yeah.
Here.
I think she mentions her father built it, built it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So this is 1969, little kid. Parents are distraught that their kid is on death's door, apparently. They know something is gravely wrong and something is plaguing him. They bring it to her. She immediately knows something is wrong. And gravely wrong, terribly wrong.
But she asks them, hey, what's going on here?
Yes, that's what clued her in. What happens? Oh, do they specifically use the word like gypsy woman?
Oh, they do. Yeah. The boy, they try to play kind of dumb at first, and she's like, come on. And so basically it's our son stole a necklace from a gypsy woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they try to give it back to her, apologize, but no, she wasn't having any of that. So
now I think the reason they didn't give it back, and we learned this later on in the film, but it's not something you would immediately know at the beginning, is because they put the curse on the item. And
Yes,
I don't think you can
yes.
remove the curse. So if they were to then take ownership of the item,
Yes.
then the one who put the curse is now the one going to be drugged to hell.
Yes,
dragged to hell.
yeah, they essentially assume, they
Right.
they curse the object and the person who has it. If they took it back, they're essentially cursing themselves.
You're
right?
basically this whole thing is fucked. As soon as this thing is cursed, it's fucked. It's basically like the tape of like The Ring. It just exists. It's there
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah. Which is kind of shitty if you think about it, huh? I mean, you can't really destroy the object.
No, because the ownership still stands.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what type of state the thing is in.
So it's either the let's say the person who put the curse on them removes it, which I don't think they can or they will, or you can gift the item to someone, but you're essentially giving them this horrible curse where
we were described as their soul being torn apart or eaten for all of eternity.
Yeah.
It's a heavy thing.
Yeah.
Like simple death is not like a big deal here. It's you will be destroyed for all eternity over and over again.
This is terrible.
Yeah, it's honestly a rough deal just for being slightly wronged.
Yeah.
It's an extremely huge punishment. We'll talk about it as we talk more about this film.
Yeah.
But I both love this movie and I hate this movie for that particular reason, but we will talk about it.
Oh, really?
We will talk about it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We will get back to this as we talk about the
you're
film.
saying. Yeah. So she, so she brings the family inside the house, talks to them about it, then kind of, shit kind of goes a little south there up in there. I believe it's on the second floor of the home, right? The demon. Now, is this at this point where we're introduced to?
I don't know if we hear the word Lamia. I don't know if I'm assuming
I
so
think
because that is the demon.
Yeah, that's the demon. So
it's the specific demon that these people curse onto the object and then takes the soul of whoever has ownership of the item. Yeah. I just forget if we hear it at this point.
I think we do. Okay. If we don't, we eventually know it's the same demon.
Right.
Maybe it's later on in the movie that the psychic, I forget I think it's Ram Jaz. I think that's the character's name. I think he says, hey, it's Lamia, shows her the book, but she may have said it then. I don't remember, but basically it's the third day. The demons essentially come to collect, right? I mean,
it's like maybe morning-ish, right?
Can't remember.
I mean, it's daylight.
Yeah.
So presumably it's time's up for this kid. And we're introduced to the Lamia. We don't actually see it. We might see shadows and silhouette.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, we don't actually see the demons in this film very well. There's very quick shots of them, but most of the time they're either silhouettes or they're invisible.
Yeah.
And that's what happens here. The Lamia shows up, invisible, knocks everyone around.
Yeah. The room. Yeah.
And then the kid gets thrown off the second floor onto the first floor. You think he's dead. He's not dead yet.
He's not dead yet. It looks like he took a spill, but that was a large drop from that top balcony there.
Yeah. Then the kid gets, the floor opens up to hell.
It's like a cool marble floor. Basically breaks open. He gets dragged. Yeah, he gets dragged to hell.
And the exorcist,
drug to hell. Name? Is it drug to hell or drag?
See,
to hell?
I said drug to hell on accident.
Drug?
But I'm pretty sure the word is dragged. I'm gonna have a lot of trouble with that.
Yeah.
But the exorcist lady sees this and she says, I'm coming for you, bro.
Yeah,
this is not cool.
Yeah, we're gonna meet up again at some point in the future. I don't know when, but we're gonna cross paths again.
And then we get some really fucking cool music with like the violins and everything going off really loud.
Yeah.
And then the title card, Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah.
All in about 2 minutes. This is great. It's the movie in miniature. We know exactly what we're in for.
Yeah, it's a great opening.
We're introduced to everything we need to know. Cursed objects. If this curse isn't lifted, you go straight to hell. And that these are brought about by essentially a person feeling slighted and needing to punish the person. Who did the slight.
Disrespected, shamed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we get transported 40 years into the future. At this point would be present day in 2009.
2009, yeah.
And we meet Chris.
Yeah,
and she works works for the bank.
Yeah.
And she's a loan officer.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
She works for some sort of nondescript bank. It's not really important.
Yeah.
It's just your successful bank.
What I like that they did in the first minute or two of introducing us to Christine or Chris is that she's driving to work. She's listening to I don't know.
It's like a diction tape.
Yeah.
Because she has an accent. She grew up in the country, working on a farm.
Yes.
And she's trying to sound more city.
Yes. She's trying to ditch, her previous life in a sense. You could tell immediately because she walks by like a bakery, sees the goodies and is like, So you can right away. It's like it's great because it's like they convey to you right off the bat. Okay, she's from a small town farm and she used to be fat, like immediately, which I thought was great. So
it's really, really smart.
Yeah. So
we also know that she's a person who is not satisfied with who she was,
yes,
and has some ideal of what she should be, and she's working to fix that.
Yeah.
She used to be heavyweight. Now she's very slim.
Yes.
She used to talk like a country person, and now she talks like a city person. She used to she used to be a farmer, essentially. Like she used to work with her on her family's farm.
Yeah.
And now she's working for a successful bank. She's clearly going after sort of like this more like American ideal of what it means to be successful, slim, attractive, make good money.
Yes.
Now we can argue that these are sort of faults in her character because you don't need any of that stuff to be happy.
Yes. And I believe these are the faults that, that really kind of screw her,
right? Because when she's looking for the position, the assistant manager position.
Yeah, she's hooked on these, and these eventually become her downfall. All of this stuff could have been avoided if that wasn't so important to her. But she shows up at work. She talks to her boss about the vacant assistant manager's position that she really, really wants. It's basically between her and I think its name is Stu, which is he's just kind of a douchebaggy guy. I mean, he's fairly new to the bank, and he's already being considered, I guess, because he's kind of a go-getter or whatever. And
what we don't find out later on is that his dad is probably in the industry in some way and helped him get the job.
Yeah.
This guy looks like he's in his late 30s, early 40s. He looks pretty established.
I would say, it doesn't matter, but late 20s to early to mid 30s.
He just looks like a 40-year-old to me for some reason. He just has that face. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. He's just an a-hole. You can tell immediately he's an a-hole. He's a kiss ass.
Duplicitous. Manipulative. Just trying to get cutthroat, trying to do anything he can to get ahead.
To get that, And so it's between them two. She definitely wants it. So her boss is basically telling her, hey, this is what's the job requires. I need someone that can do this. Well, then all of a sudden here's and let's say her name right. It's Mrs. Ganush. Because I'm sure is
it Sylvia Ganush?
Sylvia Ganush. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know we're going to mess it up along the way.
I love this name so much.
I almost want to say Ganush.
Please say Ganush.
Ganush.
Whatever you want to say. This is a great name.
I put it down. It's Ganush, and it's she's an older, nasty gypsy woman. Oh my gosh.
See, you say that, and I think the movie is having a little it's what's the expression? Having its cake and eating it too. It's doing that with Sylvia Ganush as a character. I think they're putting too much paprika on the Ganush character. They're making her seem so gross and nasty as this old woman. And I kind of hate this. I almost wish they made her more sympathetic, because when you make the character this unlikable and then curse the main character who literally goes through life and limb to get rid of the curse, it feels so awful.
So hold on. So hold on. Let me get this.
We'll talk about it, obviously.
We have to.
But She sits down at the desk
and she's doing this.
She's like stealing candy.
But what is she doing with her fingers? What she's hitting her desk with her fingers.
Yeah,
and these nasty old dirty fingers. And so, so Christine, hey, can I help you? She explains, hey, I get getting these, these letters from you guys that you're going to take my home. And, explains her financial situation. She had gotten sick. She basically lost her right eye.
No, she did lose her right eye.
Yeah. She lost.
She didn't basically lose it.
Well, yeah,
she actually lost it. It's gone.
Yeah,
There's like a glass eye there, which gives her this off look.
Yes, which adds to this character.
I love her character design.
It really, it's almost absolutely perfect.
I would say it is perfect. Before I even picked up the movie again, I remember this character to the T.
Oh my gosh.
The glass eye, the teeth, the dentures. The fingernails, the way she dressed up.
When she has the handkerchief, which comes into play throughout this movie, but she's spitting in it, and it's just this nasty, looks like just, I don't know, brownish, greenish phlegm. It just adds to the character of her, and it's establishing kind of who this. I'm not going to say who the woman is, but they're definitely painting a picture of her character.
There's an economy of storytelling and character building happening in like these first 15 minutes that really just laid down the rest of the movie. And it works so well. He's doing such a good job here. Like, exactly who every character is within like the first few seconds you get to meet them. It happens with Chris. It happens with Justin Long as the boyfriend character.
Is his name Clay? I think it's Clay, yeah.
And then you get it with Chris. You even get it with the boss and Stu.
Yes.
You know exactly who everyone is as soon as you meet them.
We get all of the main characters in, like you said, 10, 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Boom. It's right there.
Yep. There's just a table setting. Here it is. Yeah. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
And we're having fun right away with Miss Ganoush. Ganoush. Whatever. I love that. I love the name because the name feels
perfect. It's like a perfect name for this woman.
It feels like a burp or something, like an X spell. I'm sorry for anyone with their actual name Ganesh, but for this character, it just fits so well, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the hard G. G's I just Ganesh. Associate with like weird sounds or smells. I don't know. I'm very sorry.
No.
So she's asking for an extension on her home. Yeah, she's been given 2 already.
Yeah.
She's in a rough spot because, she lives in America. She got sick and now she's in debt. She can't pay for the house.
Yeah.
And now Chris is presented with an opportunity to either approve another extension or to deny her an extension and repossess the house.
Yes.
So she goes to her boss and asks, hey, this is the situation.
For close on the house. Essentially, taking the house back, which is a good thing for the bank because the bank owns the note on it. So so we get it,
they'll get a lot of money from the repossession.
Yeah. So they take it back. They could resell it and whatever. Usually they foreclose on the loan. It's usually these banks are insured, so it gets written off, and then they sell it and they make money. And it's a win for these banks, So she's, her boss tells her this,
but he gives her the opportunity to make the decision herself.
Yeah,
he says it's a hard call.
Yeah,
but it's your call
because it's he told her earlier, hey, the assistant manager is going to have to make calls like this, so he's essentially testing her right now.
Yep.
And so she comes back. In the meantime,
she's already made her decision because she's eyeing the assistant manager. She even looks at the desk on her way back.
Empty desk, yeah.
And she says, "I'm sorry, Miss Ganesh, we can't do it."
Yeah, Miss Ganesh, I think she believes, this is a no-brainer. They're going to give me another extension. She's eating a piece of candy. She takes out her dentures, her nasty, beat up old, rusted-looking dentures. She eats a piece of candy. I think she thinks this is no big deal. This is just a formality. They're gonna issue me a third extension, and Christine says nope. And the woman's kind of shocked at first, and then she's, of course, upset and starts to beg. She begs her.
She doesn't at first. She builds up to it. She sort of takes it for a second. She stands up. She turns around, looks at Chris, and then she starts to beg. The begging doesn't work. And then Miss Ganesh says, "You have shamed me."
Yeah.
And let's now begin what I hate about this movie. Now, I will say I love this movie. I love this movie. I have so much fun with this movie. I just get giddy watching it every single time. Sam Raimi is killing it the entire time. The music is killing it the entire time. The action, the direction, the scary scenes. I love almost everything outside of a few wonky instances of CGI.
Yes, we'll talk about that later because I have the same problem.
I absolutely adore this movie. But now let's talk about the thing I hate about this movie.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that Ganesh, and this is excellent character work. He knows exactly who this character is. But I hate the fact that Ganesh says, "You have shamed me."
Yeah.
As if Chris is the one doing any of this to her. Now, let's make the argument. I feel like if you feel like you don't hate this, I feel like this is a good time to talk about it.
Sure.
But Ganesh is asking for a third extension on her house, on her home. She's an elderly woman who is not working.
Yeah.
She's already been granted 2 extensions. She did get sick and she's in debt, and that totally sucks. But banks aren't in the business of just handing out money or equity for no reason. Any reasonable person would have known that they were not going to be granted a third extension when they have no income, no way to pay the bank back.
Yeah.
This is absurdity. You should have known you were going to be told no. Someone saying yes would have been winning the lottery.
Yeah.
And now, knowing that, you go into this poor person and saying, "You have done this to me."
Yeah.
This person who is only representing the bank. Now, this soldier's taking order, whatever. Let's not talk about it. It's absurd. I hate this so much. And now she begs when she was already given the answer no, as if that would change it. She's denied still. Chris has not changed her mind. The bank has not changed their mind.
Yeah.
And now she says, "You have shamed me.
Yeah.
You have done this to me." No, she fucking didn't. She did not. You did this to yourself. You're the one who embarrassed yourself. Now, what the fuck? I hate this so much. I hate it so much. And so now this entire movie, the whole rest of the movie, all the troubles that this character Chris is going to experience is because this person is so petty that she will curse this person to hell because she did not get a third extension on her home that she had no reason to expect anyway.
Yeah.
That's at the end of my spiel. It's the whole reason I hate this part of the movie and everything that happens to Chris. Regardless of Chris's fault, she does not deserve to be burned in hell eternally for this.
No. Let's get this straight.
Okay.
And nothing that she goes through does she deserve. Could she have done another extension? Absolutely. If I was put in that position, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have given her an extension. In the business I'm in, I mainly deal with the elderly, 62 or older. So I'm sympathetic to that. I probably would have given her an extension, but you're right. She had no job. She'd be back in a month asking for a 4th extension or a 5th extension. I mean, where does it end? So I understand why you don't like that. I get it.
But let's also go back and look at how this character's been painted so far. She stole candy. She took out her dentures on this person's desk.
No, I know.
Spit everywhere. She has absolutely no respect for the person who she's working with and asking for the extension for. Yeah. So why should I respect this character?
Yeah.
It's not like some sweet old lady. And then this is why this movie is doing some weird characterization work with Ganesh.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to like her. Everything we see about this person is not likable.
It's not. Nothing at all.
So now if this movie had painted her as a very sweet lady who was really down on her luck, who was very nice and kind, who definitely did not want to burden her family, which is another reason I hate.
Yeah.
Just move in with your family. She would have accepted
her
you.
Her granddaughter,
So this person literally is out and is like, no, that's just a whole nother thing, right?
Yeah.
That's just additional evidence or backing up of my point.
Yeah.
So it's like Now, if this was a nice lady, then yeah, I'd be like, Chris did make a mistake here. She could have granted it.
Yeah.
And maybe that would have been the morally correct situation in this case. But number 3,
I know
this character
most banks,
sucks.
first of all, most banks don't even do that. They may do one for you. The reality is they may do one,
Mm-hmm.
and that's under a certain special circumstance. And so, but it is a movie. So, okay. But yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I do. Look, Chris doesn't deserve any of this, of what this, when this woman does this, this curse she puts on her. Hell no, she doesn't deserve it. Now I'm going to go on the other side and say that Chris was selfish because
yes,
she was selfish here because this was about that fancy assistant manager's desk that she kept looking at. That's what this boiled down to. That's what it's boiled down to. She felt bad about this. She wanted to give it to her, but she wanted that assistant manager's position more. So that was a little selfish on her end. And so, but again, nothing that she got cursed on did she deserve. I don't know what she deserved, but it wasn't that. It could have been something else. It could have been, hey, Mrs. Ganush is outside at 5:05 and she's given her a few words. Okay. Yeah. But not what she got after she walked to her car.
I think that the way the situation has been presented, I think the way the position has been presented is that if the assistant manager position or promotion was not up for grabs, that Chris was presented this opportunity anyway, she would have still said no.
You think so?
I think, well, no, I don't. But I feel that in most cases, any other person would have said no. And I think that in a different movie, Chris would have said yes, and she would have got fired for it. But I also think that her saying no was the logical conclusion. And that the saying no was, although motivated by the promotion, was almost tangential and coincidental, that it just happened to be the one that was in line with the promotion. Like the position, Sam and Ivan Raimi have just put this situation in such a gray area when it's usually black and white, but this one is just, I would say that she would have said no in most other situations anyway, despite the promotion. This is number 3. You can't say yes every single time.
Yeah.
But the movie does still present it as she wants the promotion. She's going to say no.
Yeah.
But who cares? This lady doesn't deserve that. Now, if she was very nice, then sure. But anyway, do you have anything more to say on this point regard?
No. I don't know. But
we've been talking about this for a while. And
that's okay.
And again,
it's such a good movie though. So
I love this movie. The fact that I hate this part so much is actually a benefit of the movie, or it's just a huge compliment. Yeah. Not many movies are able to make me feel so much vitriol for a character and a scene as much as this one.
And I didn't mind it at all. What I realized with Sam and his brother doing in this film, Ivan, is that you are made to feel uncomfortable several times through this movie.
All the time, I'd argue.
That is what I don't like. Is this uncomfortable, we can talk about it later, but the scene with the mother and the father, oh my gosh, that stuff like that drives me crazy. I almost want to fast forward through it because I hate what the character is going through on the negative side.
This is the huge difference between you and me. I've seen all of The Office.
Yes,
you have not.
I can't.
Now
this is perfect. It's perfect that you're bringing this up.
A lot of The Office is cringe comedy,
I can't
especially
do it.
The original British series.
Yeah.
I love that show. I love a big chunk of that show anyway.
Yeah.
And you can't watch many episodes.
I can't. I start watching it, and then Steve Carell's character.
Played beautifully. That's why it's so effective.
No, he's great, but he does stuff that I have to turn it. it's just so, like you're saying, it's so cringe. I can't do it. I find myself, I'll watch a little bit of it. Oh, that's funny. Oh my God, he's going to be stupid. And then I got to hurry up and turn it because I can't deal with it. And I know it's just a show. It's not real, but I get like hooked or engrossed in the character. And I'm like, okay, I can't do that. And that's what they do in this movie a few times.
There's those weird social situations that are made uncomfortable because it's breaking some sort of like social norm in some very terrible degree where you feel so empathetic for the person you care about.
Yeah.
Right. Just because they're in such a horrible position. But the movie also does that with physical situations.
That I'm okay with. I seem to be okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that I'm okay with. But so let's get back on it. So we forgot Chris. I'm just going to call her Christine. She at lunchtime goes to visit her boyfriend Clay, which is played by Justin Long.
He's really good in this.
He's
movie.
really good in this. Perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect for this.
He
him.
ends the movie with,
oh my God, that was great.
That last, he's the last shot of the movie, and he kills it right there.
He kills it there.
We'll talk about it later.
But he's a doctor, right? Professor.
Yeah, they call him a doctor, but he does seem to be more in like an educational type of situation.
Yeah. She visited him at his office. He's collects, not that it's relevant.
It's super relevant because it's a small coin in an envelope. Yes. That's a huge deal.
I think more so as I meant like the relevancy as to a hobby. I think the hobby. It is
every single decision in this movie is deliberate.
Yes,
as is this hobby.
Yeah,
it's a coin. It's shaped round, and we'll find out why that's important in just a few minutes.
It's true. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
But she brings him like a fancy coin from like the 1929. It's a very specific coin.
Yeah,
she found it in circulation.
Yeah,
she gives it to him as a present, and then he geeks out about it.
She leaves. He gets a telephone call. It's his mother. You can tell right off. I think he has her on speaker, and Chris had just left, but she's out there getting a drink of water at the water fountain. She overhears the mother. The mother just seems like a total bitch. She just seems like right off the bat, like kind of stuck up, kind of, I don't know, pompous, right off the bat. And he's sitting there and he's kind of sticking up for Chris. Like he has to defend her. And it's like, I've been dating her a year. You haven't even met her. Who does that?
Yeah, she is not a good person. She's recommending a different girl to him. Yeah, as he says that she is,
as he's been dating Christine for a year.
She hears all this. She walks away dejectedly, and it's this movie doing really good character work in just as little time as possible.
Yeah,
we know that Chris loves. Is his name Clay? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Clay. Yeah.
We know Clay is head over heels for Chris.
Oh yeah,
they do seem to be like a very well-adjusted, normal couple.
Yeah. For sure.
No, we don't see this a lot. They just seem to be very loving.
Yeah.
We get that right away.
Absolutely.
They're doing nice things for each other. How many couples on lunch break go visit each other at work? Not a lot.
No.
They don't also then bring very specific and thoughtful gifts to each other either.
Yeah.
So we get all this in a few minutes. We know that she had not met his parents, and that things are weird there. His parents are probably well off and stuck up.
Yes.
The mom is kind of an asshole.
Yes.
At least we're led to believe in that like 30-second conversation. If that, it's really quick.
Yeah.
And then she goes back to work, and that's where we meet Ganesh.
Yeah, we meet Ganesh. So we already have that. We've already established that interaction with Christine and Ganesh.
We fast forward a little bit.
Yeah.
It's off. It's after hours. She goes to the parking lots, which is a parking garage.
Yeah.
And then she sees Ganesh's car, which is like this old beat down car from like the 70s.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Yeah.
And it's empty, and her car is directly facing it.
Yeah.
And then she goes to her car. She gets in her car. Everything seems normal. Then we see the handkerchief.
I love that handkerchief scene.
Yeah, it's just kind of floating in a wind that doesn't exist.
It's almost
in the
like
parking garage.
It almost reminds me of the feather in Forrest Gump.
Yes.
Right? Kind of the same concept, And
now this handkerchief is kind of floating along towards the car, hits the car windshield. Yeah. And then it floats around to the car. She's watching it the entire time. She turns all the way around in her seat. And then we get Miss Ganesh in the back of the car, just sitting there.
She's creepy, man.
It's so good. Yeah. And then we just linger on Ganesh's face for about like 5 seconds before she like jumps out at her and starts attacking Chris.
Basically reiterates you shamed me, and oh man.
And then we get like a 3-minute fight scene, which is what I remember when I saw this fight scene in 2009, because I saw this movie in theaters too. I was just having like the time of my life. I was like, oh, this is the most fun fight scene I've seen in like years. And now revisiting this movie 11 years later, I can still say this is one of the most fun fight scenes I've ever seen in years.
Yeah.
I love this scene.
It's a great scene.
Chris is using staplers to staple her away. She's using rulers to stab her in the mouth. The rulers then being coughed out and like denting the window with like a crack.
I think did it dent it or did it shatter it?
It like put like a crack on the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she just coughed with so much force. This is a great fight scene. It has its own beats. We won't get in too much detail, but we do know that Chris is very capable, and when her back is against the wall, she's able to fight her way through it and come out on top. That's the main lesson we get from this fight scene. She beats Ganesh. She has one of my favorite lines ever and one of my best line readings ever in a movie, where she says, "Ha ha ha, I beat you, you old bitch."
Yeah, that was great. I rewatching it again, I started laughing my ass off.
Yeah, Alison Lohman, like, I will never forget that line. She kills it right there. She's so joyous there. I love it.
What's funny is she does it behind a locked car door, though.
Yeah, but she fucking did. She beat her.
She thought she beat her.
But that scene doesn't quite end there. Ganesh, breaks the window with like a cement block, and they have a little bit more of a scuffle. Yeah. But, she still wins. And then the cops are called later, and
who wins?
Freaking not Ganesh. Chris wins here.
Oh, no.
We'll make your case.
Hold on a second. Ganesh wins. She breaks the window, gets her out, and then grabs her arm to grab the button off of her jacket and does her curse, and then Chris passes out. How did Christine win here? Ganesh cursed her ass.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I was too hyped from the line reading.
Look, the line's pretty awesome.
You're right. I honestly forgot that little last bit, and it's the most important part of the movie.
It's okay. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
it's okay.
She curses, and there's some cool stuff going on here. Sam and his editors are having like a lot of fun with like the effects that are going on in camera and in post, where like there's a lot of close-ups. Everything is kind of out of focus and dreamy and smoke-like. Yep. We get like close-ups of the button. He kind of does the same thing in Evil Dead, where he distorts the audio a lot.
Yeah.
So like we know that whatever Ganesh is saying and whatever the hell she's saying, it's not in English.
Yeah.
It's significant.
Yes.
And she's saying it to the button. She does this weird on the button.
Yeah.
So shit is going down.
Yeah. And then she says, because I think Christine is starting to kind of fade out, to pass out. And she says, soon it will be you who comes begging to me, which I freaking love.
Yeah.
I love this part.
I just would like to say again, like, fuck this lady. I do not like this lady. She sucks.
She does, but
she knows she is eternally damning this person to hell. For what? What punishment could ever be worth that? Genocide, maybe.
Oh my God.
A little money? No.
But her character, we said it earlier, I'm going to continue to say it, perfect. She is painted absolutely so perfect. You remember her. It's just she's creepy. She's all of the things that you want her to be. She's her.
If this was like a Marvel movie or something, like she'd have action figures, icons all over the place. She is so recognizable.
She reminds me. There's a couple scenes that she reminds me of, like some of these movies. Like James Wan, he'll do like say a Conjuring or Insidious. Dead Silence has this older woman, and I'm not saying it's exactly her, but it's so memorable because of how she looks and acts, and that's what we're getting with Miss Ganesh here. It's almost flawless.
There's something called, I think, the silhouette test. This is mostly true for animation, where you've got like your character that's shaped like a box or a triangle. And the idea is that when you're creating like an animated work or just a work in general, you want to be able to easily distinguish your characters just by the shape. Ganesh, like, yeah, this is a live action movie, but she fits that. If I saw the shape of or the silhouette of Ganesh, I would know right away what she was or who she was.
You know what she almost I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but doesn't she almost remind you of like an animated Disney villain? You know,
like your DeVille's.
Yeah, your snow, the witch from Snow White. You know, this older kind of creepy, cauldron woman, this witch. And that's almost what I know she's not, but that's what she, And
Raimi's done this his entire career. He exaggerates everything in frame. He exaggerates his story beats too.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to feel cartoonish. He just livens up the action with very funny and exciting details that might not work in real life. Like, again, coughing up a ruler and it
It's friggin' the staple to the head. I mean, there's so many. Oh my gosh, we have to talk about this because I mean, when her teeth. When they're scuffling in the car, they're fighting, and Christine is got her foot on the gas and she puts the seatbelt on and she hits the another parked vehicle, and Miss Ganesh flies towards the dashboard, and her teeth come out and she gets up and starts gumming her face. That shit is wrong.
Yeah, and this is
so wrong.
We've touched on it, but this is Raimi making you feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
But he's making a joke out of it.
Yes.
It's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
I laugh at that.
I was watching some special features on it, and they actually did all of that. And they said it was, and there was several takes, and it just felt, it's uncomfortable for us to watch it. Can you imagine being in that scene and having it done to you with all the saliva and stuff?
Well, they do it later on in the film with their corpse.
Yes.
And then you've got the CGI saliva just gushing out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like probably embalming fluid or something. Is that what that was?
No. I think at that point, because this movie does weird things where it's like messing with reality. Yeah. I feel that it's supposed to be like your own bodily fluids. Embalming fluid doesn't just pop out of your mouth.
No, I just couldn't. Like, what else would that have been? It was like greenish or something, or blue. I don't remember. It was some weird color, but
it's Ganesh somehow summoning.
It's Ganesh juice.
There you go.
That sounds wrong.
It's good juice.
Good juice. We trademark that.
TM that. So we get this fight scene, we get the curse, and then what happens?
So we got
so this is what I like to see in horror movies is we get like this crazy thing happen with this lady, and then she calls the cops, and we get to see the cops doing cop work. I just kind of like that detail. It's not huge in the movie.
Yeah.
And then we get Justin Long's character Clay, and they go back to her house, and then he comforts her. Says that he's worried about her.
No.
That doesn't happen right away?
No, not right away. It does. But no, because remember they end up, they're driving, and I think they went to like a coffee. You're right. And then we get the psychic. Yeah, because
and then she wants a reading.
So yeah, they come out of the coffee place, and they're walking up the street towards the car, and he's going to unlock it in these leaves, this wind in these leaves, which is really cool. I love this visual. It's like this gust of wind and leaves kind of absorb, kind of surrounds her and passes her, and she asks, "Did you hear any of that?" And he's like, "No." But then she turns around, and it happens to be a psychic shop or store. Yeah. What do you call it? A store or a shop? I don't know.
A spiritual advisor.
Yeah. And so
he does that trick a few times in the movie. He did it with a handkerchief. He does it here, where some nondescript object is coming into frame, guiding her vision and panning across until we see the thing that will motivate her character or the plot in some way.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this trick. It's so smooth, jumping from one idea to the next, because that's supposed to be like almost like a spooky scene, and then we're then immediately going into here's our next plot development and our next character introduction.
Yeah.
I love this movie, just so economical. It's easy to gush about this movie. I really do love this movie. So yeah, and then we get to meet our spiritual advisor, who will be sort of Chris's guide into the more spiritual aspect of this movie regarding the Lamy and the demon.
Ram Joss.
Mm-hmm.
I like him.
I liked him as an actor. The only other movie I've seen him in, I think, is Inception. Does that sound right?
Oh gosh, I only saw Inception once.
Good movie.
I know. I've seen him in other stuff, but I couldn't tell you offhand.
He's done Avatar, Inception, Murder of a Cat, Viva Boys. He's apparently in 2 of the Avatar sequels.
Murder of a Cat.
These are movies I've not heard of.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that. Of them we have, but I dig this guy. I think he's great.
I like his face.
You like his face?
Yeah, I feel like if I saw him on the street, I'd be like, you know what? I want to talk to the guy. Maybe we can be buds.
Yeah.
He looks very inviting and kind, I would say.
Yeah,
I think that's what I mean by that.
I could agree with that. So she goes in to get a reading. Of course, Justin Long, Clay, her boyfriend Clay is really, come on.
Now, yes, in our reality, of course, and we've talked about this before, where when a movie establishes their own universe, but they take our rules and don't necessarily gel them well with how the universe within the film actually works. Now, if Justin Long's character Clay was in our universe, sure. But I always find this a little bit weird, and we can just chalk this up to movies being movies. But we've already seen a spiritual advisor, exorcist type lady, watch a kid be dragged to hell.
Yeah.
Now you're telling, and quote unquote gypsies have been around for all of time. We'll just say, come on, just cut me some slack here.
Yeah.
You're telling me that the proliferation of crazy shit like this has not reached the masses. There's just like weird like universe stuff that I think kind of goes unchecked in movies. And I do wish that almost like sci-fi films, they explored this idea. If one kid was dragged to hell because of one slight, I'm sure other people have been dragged to hell.
Oh, sure.
And these quote unquote missing cases persons would have reach the masses and be like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't fuck with a certain type of people who mess with the dark arts.
Yeah.
Anyway, Justin Long doesn't believe it. If this movie was in our universe, I'd be like, yeah, of course, but it's not. And so it almost rings a little false for me.
Yeah.
And that's just a very, very minor gripe I have. But he doesn't believe it. Chris knows something weird is going on.
Yeah.
She wants help in some way. So she talks to this person.
Yeah.
And he charges a very small amount of money for
$60. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Honestly, I mean, I don't think it's that bad either.
Takes credit cards.
Yeah.
Maybe PayPal. I don't know.
Apparently he's seen a lot of, well, it's 2009.
Yeah.
And so this guy's the real deal.
He is the real deal. He's not some hack.
He knows right away that a pretty powerful demon or force is
dark spirit. I think he calls it a dark spirit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is surrounding Chris and that she is in big trouble.
Yeah.
And I think this character is looking to distance himself from that.
Oh, yeah.
So he says, I will give you back your money.
Get the hell out of here.
Please leave.
Yeah.
They do that. They do end up paying him. And then we get the scene back at the house where, Justin Long's character Clay is comforting Chris and saying, that guy's a hack. Don't believe him. You're experiencing this very scientific thing that I will explain because I am a doctor. You're reliving your trauma, PTSD, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then he leaves her be. And then we're introduced to the kitten. And he says, kitten, please protect Chris.
Yeah, because he has to go deal with something with her car, probably have it towed or something. Yeah. And so he's gone for a bit. And then, of course, we get
some spooky scenes.
Yeah, she gets visited.
Yeah, the Lamy is walking in the upstairs of the house, creaking all the boards, and
is that right?
Running around the house.
Is that right away, or is that later? I mean, we get a lot of those scenes, but I think she gets her ass kicked in the kitchen.
She gets clocked in the face, doesn't she?
She gets knocked across the kitchen, hits the counters or the cabinets, and I don't know, cut lip or something like that,
Yeah, and Justin's character is like, oh yeah, that old lady came to the house.
Yeah, and she's trying to explain, no, I didn't see anyone. No one was here, but of course he doesn't get it,
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I think we go back to the bank.
But doesn't she, I think this is kind of, I mean, we talked about this earlier, but I think she was looking at a book before the spirit showed up and a picture fell out and it was her, I don't know, let's say 15, 16.
She was preparing a cake for the dinner with the parents.
Yeah.
That's her harvest cake.
Her harvest cake. And
then in the recipe book, she has that photo of her as a 15-year-old. Well, not necessarily 15, 13, but when she was 14, younger.
Yeah, when she was younger at the pork, what was it, a Pork Queen Fair or something like that? Pork Queen Fair, was that what it was? Something like that. It might
have been.
And she's raising pigs, hogs, whatever. So you can,
And obviously that comparison is pretty explicit.
Yeah.
She is a pork herself. That's at least that's what the movie is saying.
Yeah.
She was heavyweight and, and she does not like that.
No. And it's important because she's doing everything she can to run away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what gets her into trouble. This is why she's cursed.
It's her constant improvement, or it's her constant drive to quote unquote improve herself.
Yeah.
And distance herself away from what she thinks is not the ideal.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what brought her to the management position. It's what brought her to say no to Ganesh and her eventual curse.
Yeah.
Now, Ganesh sucks, so Chris doesn't deserve any of this.
Yeah.
In a different movie, this would be a learning experience for Chris.
Yeah.
But this is a very different movie than that.
Yes. So then I think that she's sleeping. I think her and Clay, her boyfriend, or Justin, are sleeping. That I love the scene where the fly kind of comes onto the camera really quick, and then it starts flying around her face, and then it ends up in her mouth. And
yeah, again, this movie is trying to make you uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable, man. Because I mean, come on, how many of us have had a fly around us and hit us in the face or the mouth, or
just flies by your ear?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's a terrible experience to just have that.
It's annoying.
Right in your ear.
I think those flies, I think they're almost like crows, where they remember. Like if you swatted at them, I think they come and fuck with you.
It feels like that.
It does.
Yeah.
I know this is going to sound stupid, but there have been times where I was waking up in the morning and I wasn't quite awake. I didn't want to get up, and I could hear maybe a fly got in somehow, and it just kept buzzing around me. And no matter what I did, it would not leave me the hell alone. I know it sounds crazy, but it has happened. I think they got a mind, and they don't forget stuff. Oh, that guy swung at me, try to hit me with a whatever magazine, newspaper.
Well, he attempted murder on me, so now I'm just gonna try to fuck with him.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, I know it sounds completely dumb, but it's happened. But anyways,
what's funny about this fly is it actually made an effort to crawl into her mouth.
It did.
And then fly into her stomach.
Yeah, went through her nose, which was kind of fucked up. One in one nostril, came out the other, went into her mouth. She wakes up, and it's like kind of choking or coughing, and then she kind of that's a cool scene where she kind of pans over, and Miss Ganush is laying in the bed next to her, which is friggin' awesome. And she gets on top of her, and they struggle, and she just shoots out a ton of maggots and worms into her mouth. It's an uncomfortable scene, man.
I love movies that just have all these amazing ideas and then put them to film. I just love it when a director and a writer come together and they're like, what's the craziest shit we can do that makes sense within the story that is then just a ton of fun or revolting or some combination of the two. And that's what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Like this movie is just so full and chock full of just like fun ideas.
Yeah. It's definitely, she wakes up, it's a dream. She ends up going to work.
So yeah, this scene is awesome. So she goes back to the bank. She ends up talking to her boss, and then blood just inexplicably shoots out of her nose and all over her boss. It's a huge spurt of blood.
And what's funny is we talk about the maggots and the worm scene, and then a couple minutes later we get this just blood. I mean, it starts out just real quickly as a bloody nose. Boss, hey, you got a bloody nose, and then it goes back quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts squirting all over him.
Is this one of those scenes where you just have trouble watching?
Yeah.
Because this is a combination of body horror.
Yeah, I don't
obviously
like it.
body horror different than like Dead Alive, which is more like things falling off, things not being where they should be, just all around like nasty stuff. But this is more like your body is just doing a thing, but up to the 10th degree. Everyone gets nosebleeds. They do not shoot it out with like the force of like a fire hose.
Yeah, it went everywhere onto her boss.
Yeah.
I mean, it's embarrassing enough to have this happen inside this bank where there's other employees and customers, but it's all over your boss who you've been trying to impress to get this damn assistant manager's position. And then he freaks out. Hey, did it even get in my mouth? But she leaves because she's embarrassed. She's freaked out because of all these things are starting to happen to her.
Right. And at this point,
I think she goes to,
the boss is saying, this file you're working on is very, very good work.
Yeah.
If this goes through, the assistant manager position is for you.
Yeah.
And then the nosebleed kind of sets everything awry. She has to immediately leave. The file's left on her desk.
Yeah.
And this is where Stu picks it up
steals
to
it,
fuck with it in some way because Stu fucking sucks.
He's an a-hole, but he steals it. So she ends up, I think at this point she goes over to her or to Mrs. Ganush's house.
Yes.
And just she's here. Yes. Like she said earlier, you're going to be coming to beg to me. And she's done with this stuff and goes to Mrs. Ganush's house.
The sister or the granddaughter opens the door.
Yeah. She, at first is like, no, you're here to make things better now. Like, come on.
What's funny is the granddaughter sees through the shit, but she also has like this, like almost omnipresent, like insight into Chris's character. Because she says, you used to be a fat girl, didn't you?
Yeah.
And this is where Chris is also being tested. Because immediately before she's like, don't lie to me on this porch. Yeah. And Chris is like, I used to be a fat girl.
Yeah.
And then at that point, the granddaughter lets her into the house.
Yeah.
And then we get like this sort of like tracking shot where the camera is following in front of Chris as she's sort of coming into what is essentially a wake. Yes.
Right?
Like a service for the dead Ganush.
Dead Ganush.
You cannot seek salvation from or forgiveness from Ganush.
No.
She is dead.
Yeah.
I love this about this movie. Chris is constantly going through, how do I solve this problem? And
let me ask you this.
The solution is being, sort of taken out from under her feet like a rug.
Yeah. She's not getting out so easy on this one. I mean, it's probably, I don't know if it's really relevant, but I mean, this happened so all this happens during a span of 3 days.
I think this is like,
did Miss Ganush does she have a heart attack? I mean, we're to assume something happened, something out of the blue happened to her. Because she's going to lose her home. Does she have a heart attack? What the heck happened to her?
It's not explained and I don't care.
No, not.
I care not at all.
I just brought it up.
It makes for a better movie for her to be dead.
Yes, it does.
Her being dead and not being able to get forgiveness.
Yeah.
Now, we don't actually know within the logic of this movie if forgiveness would absolve the curse. I think it wouldn't.
I don't think so.
And I think if Ganush was alive, this would be the scene where she's laughing at Chris and saying, well, sorry, you fucker. You shamed me. Again, no, she did not.
We know you can tell that she is a very proud woman and
a very vindictive woman, a very petty woman.
And there's no way she is taking it, even if she was alive. That curse is staying intact. So she sees that she's dead. She trips, falls. Miss Ganush, of course, lands on top of her.
Her mouth, her like undentured mouth is on her again, and like fluid is going all over her and into her mouth.
Just again another uncomfortable scene. Just gross.
This movie is just, what can we do in this scene that's gross and fun?
Yeah, the granddaughter says something like, whatever's coming, you deserve, basically.
Yeah, fuck off. No, she doesn't.
She's kind of fucked up too.
Yeah,
I think it's just the whole family or a bunch of.
Yeah, it's the whole bloodline there.
Yeah.
A bunch of like very vindictive people apparently.
So she goes back to the psychic. I think at this point is when he tells her about Lamia, And I believe it's called the black goat, right? Does that sound right? I think Lamia is basically a black goat.
I love that it's a black goat. That's such a Sam Raimi thing.
That it is a Sam Raimi thing. It's totally cool. You have 3 days. This type of stuff is going to happen to you within 3 days.
And then
after the third day, you know. He
might be appeased by sacrificing a small animal.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a small kitten at home.
This is jacked up.
Yeah. This is a tough scene to watch.
It is. I mean,
it's a cute little kitten. It's innocent and pure. It's done nothing wrong. It doesn't deserve this. Kind of like Chris. Except Chris is now being driven to do this awful act because, she faces eternal damnation. Can you finish the sentence for me?
Eternal damnation.
Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome, bud. Hey, no, I mean, she's a vegetarian. So the idea, I mean, she obviously she eats no meats. So the idea of hurting this kitten, but this is what she has been pushed to. This is day 2, or I think this is day 2.
This is day 2.
Is this day 2?
Day 2.
She's had enough. And okay, I'm going to sacrifice this kitten and see if this works.
And she does this because we get another spooky scene.
Oh, in the house, yeah,
and in the shed,
which is cool. I love this scene. We see a lot of shadows, a lot of silhouettes of Lamia.
You see his like goat hooves.
Yeah, I love that shit.
And then the goat hoof shadow turns into like hands.
Yeah,
and then they go to grab her with the shadow.
That's cool.
Bounces over it, and then the Lamia comes in somehow, and then dangles her by like the ankle and just throws her around.
She's floating around. Yeah. Thrown around the room.
This is so Sam Raimi.
It's vintage Sam Raimi.
Like Raimi has like his own genre, basically, kind of like Tarantino.
Yes, he does.
Like when you see it, you just know it's him.
It's yes. I love when you see a movie and the director puts their stamp on it, and Raimi he's great at it. Yeah. I mean, when you see something, it's him. He's
got his own language. It's perfect. It works awesome. Well for this movie.
And this is why I just wish he would do more of it. But again, it's the selfish part of me. But she's now like, screw this. Where's the cat? Where's the kitten?
And then we get the scene of her stabbing the cat. We don't see it on screen. We just see her doing a stabbing motion.
There's
and
like
then
blood and
big gobs of blood.
And then we see her throwing the kitten in the ground and covering up with dirt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually surprised
in the garden.
In the garden, yeah. And this is when Clay comes back, Justin Long's character. Hey, why do you have blood on your? She says it's. I mean, come on.
She's a really bad liar.
Bad liar.
She says it's tomato juice.
Tomato juice. Yeah, it's like really, and he's a doctor, and he's like, and he doesn't know the difference between tomato juice and blood, but whatever. So. But then I think that evening is the night of the dinner, or I don't know if it's really an evening. Is it more of a lunch? Is it a dinner, or is it? I guess it's kind of like an early dinner, maybe.
Yeah.
He basically stresses to her, should we do this? You've gone through a lot the last couple of days. She's like, no, I'm definitely doing this. I think things are okay now, because she thinks in her head, I just sacrificed the kitten. Lamia is gone. I'm okay. And that's not the case.
And then we get the dinner scene, which is pure cringe and comedy. I enjoy this scene quite a lot. It's a lot of very uncomfortable things happening. And again, it has one of my favorite lines in this movie where Chris is saying, well, I used to have a cat. And then Clay is like, no, you have a cat.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, cats come and go.
Yes, I know.
I forget what she says explicitly, but I love it.
It's like she's scrambling to.
Like, I don't know what they do.
But what's funny is
she's such a bad liar.
Well, when she walks past their black cat and it hisses because the cat knows, I
don't know if the cat is hissing because it knows it committed like cat murder. Or if it's because she's possessed by a demon,
maybe,
or you're not possessed, but
yeah, she's got a dark spirit after her. I think maybe it's a combination of both.
I like the idea that the cat just knows that she's a cat killer.
She's a cat killer, yeah. What's funny is when they called the cat's name and it was Hickaba.
Was it Hickaba?
And I was
that like a reference to something?
Well, I looked it up because I'm like, okay, why you're not just naming the cat? I don't know. This or that, some common cat name, whatever that is. Hickaba seems very unusual,
especially for like a rich white people family.
Yeah, and so I looked it up. She was like it's like Greek mythology or something like that. It was like it was named after like the Queen of Troy or something. I was hoping.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was hoping like there was something cool like to her story that I could somehow tie in, but I didn't find anything.
No.
So,
That's
but I just thought it was a strange cat name.
It is a strange cat name.
So they're eating dinner. Mom is just being mom. She just seems to be an a-hole.
Well, she warms
she doesn't
up.
seem to be. She does warm up with her, but she's kind of putting her down, like calls her a bank teller. And, Justin Long is like, no, she's not a bank teller. There's a big difference between
she's an LO.
Yeah.
But she warms up to her as soon as she says she's honest and says that her mom is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Her dad, Chris's father, passed away, and now the mom just lives on the farm and drinks her pain away.
Yeah.
And then we find out that Clay's mom, she did the same.
Yeah.
Or her dad did the same.
Yeah.
One of her parents.
And definitely a bonding moment. Like, oh, cool. Like they've gotten past this, whatever this mother had put up, she thinks of her as a certain way. It's now down. It's like gone. And it's like, cool. And then of course, she starts seeing stuff and
she starts freaking out. The fly pops out of her mouth. Now they think the cake, which is like a raisin, it's a harvest cake, but there's raisins in it.
Yeah.
They think that it's like contaminated with like fly larvae or flies, and they're eating bugs. It's a harvest cake. She's from a farm. Of course, it would have some nasty stuff in it, right?
Cake looked good though, didn't it?
It looked all right.
It looked pretty good.
I think it looked like your normal homemade cake you'd see at like a work potluck, and I was just
you
like,
think so? I thought it looked better than that.
Really?
Take out. I don't mind raisins and stuff. But it looked good. I love homemade cakes like that.
I thought you didn't really like cakes.
No. There's certain cakes I do like.
Oh,
yeah.
So you would have had a piece of this cake?
I would have absolutely had a piece of that harvest cake. Yeah, I look good.
I think I would have passed on it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, I definitely would have had I guess it depends on how much dinner I'd eat.
Honestly, this is like an affluent family. They probably offered tea or coffee.
Yes.
And now if they were offering coffee, I probably would have had some of the cake.
There you go. Yeah. You gotta have a piece of that harvest
Just
cake.
A little bit of the cake.
Yeah.
What I've noticed is that when people give you a slice of cake, it's always too much cake.
It is.
I wish that they cut the cakes in half the size they usually give it to you.
You know what I notice is because I think as what I've seen at birthday parties, especially these days with whether it doesn't matter whether it's adult or kids, they always seem to have extra cake because not enough people show up. They order too much of it. So what they do is because they don't want to take it home, so they give you 3 times the size of what you should be eating, and it's way too much.
It's like they're trying to make a meal of the cake, but the cake is a treat.
Yes.
Give me a very slim slice of the cake.
Yeah.
And now if I want more cake, I'll get another very slim slice.
Yes. But what pissed me off though was if it backfired and the cake was really good and I didn't get a big piece and there was none left. That would suck.
That would suck.
But
that would be your own drag me to hell, right?
That's right. Especially if I was in the mood for cake. So she starts seeing she sees an eye in her piece of cake. I think she stabs
it's Ganesh's eye.
It's Ganesh's eye. She stabs it. It's like oozing out.
Oozing out blood. I love that. It's so good. It's so gross.
And then I think the fork is still in the cake. It starts moving around. She's hearing voices. The conversation that's happening at the table seems to be magnified. Like the volume is so high. And
no, their conversation is very quiet, but there's a bunch of sounds coming everywhere else.
Oh, see, I thought that when she was
because when I was here trying to listen to Clay talking, and I could not hear him for the life of me.
Well, yeah, that's true. I guess,
but we were hearing a bunch of other noises around the house and banging.
Yeah, banging.
Bunch of weird shit, and then we saw. I forget. I don't know if I'm just imagining this or remembering wrong, but like the shadow of the Lamia too. The point is, of the scene is that the Lamia is still here.
Yeah,
she did not appease it.
Yeah,
and that she's still gonna be dragged to hell.
Yes,
and she makes a mess of the dinner / lunch with her boyfriend's family.
Yeah. She comes off very kind of crazy. Definitely embarrassed herself. I think she threw a glass at the door. She leaves. Which the mother's like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. So yeah, she's embarrassed, she's upset, all these things. Goes back to the psychic.
And he says, I can fix your problem for $10,000.
$10,000. Yeah.
Yep. The seer that we saw at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Wants to help, or she can help, but she's putting her own life in danger.
Yeah.
So it's $10,000.
$10,000.
She scrounges up about $3,800 through just miscellaneous items around the house.
Yeah, pawns everything.
She had like a PS3 I saw, and that could have easily been a couple $100, but she didn't grab it.
She didn't grab the PS3?
I don't know why. Yeah, I saw it in the frame. I was like, oh yeah, this is 3 years after 2006, so there's definitely PS3s around.
Maybe what she would maybe in her head.
Actually, there's probably even more money. I forget how long.
Those were expensive.
They were $1,000 like aftermarket for like a while in 2006 because they was the Blu-ray player to buy.
Well, maybe she felt if she survived, she wanted to do some gaming and watch some
nice Blu-rays, some nice crisp Blu-rays.
I can't sell everything.
Yeah.
So because I mean she'd asked her boss. Of course, that didn't happen. You're not going to get the promotion. Stu's, we're going to give it to Stu. So she gets like $3,800. She's sitting at her table in her kitchen eating ice cream, and Justin Long comes back in. Hey, I paid for this.
Yep.
Look, I don't know if I believe you, but look,
$10,000.
Yeah.
And now, so I was thinking about this when I was rewatching it last night, and it's the first time I had the thoughts. But I would have loved to see a movie from Clay's point of view. His girlfriend is going crazy.
Yeah.
He doesn't experience anything she's experiencing. He's out $10,000, and then he's out a girlfriend, and he has no way to explain it. Now people are going, at the end of the movie, they're going to be like, oh yeah, she got hit by the train and her body just disintegrated. Oh, where's like the blood and everything? I don't know. It's just gone. Yeah. But he sees her being dragged to hell, something he didn't believe in before.
How did no one else see that? We get to that later.
But Clay at this point he's at the very least agnostic, but I'm pretty sure he's atheistic. He doesn't seem to believe in any sort of spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
And then he gets like this crazy realization through like the destruction and death of his girlfriend and his girlfriend's soul. And I was like, oh yeah, that'd be a very interesting movie to see. Obviously a very different movie.
Yeah.
Where like the horror is coming from dealing with like his loved one presumably going crazy and going through all this awful stuff.
Yeah.
But still being loving and supportive anyway. And I kind of love Clay's character in this movie. He's just like the perfect boyfriend. And it's not that he's just the perfect boyfriend, because you get those in a million movies, but he's like the perfect boyfriend for her. Yeah. He very clearly cares about her. Chris clearly cares about Justin Long's character, Clay.
Yeah.
They're a match made in heaven. And like the real tragedy of this movie is Justin Long having to live his life after this traumatic experience with her. And of course, I've already been on record as saying as Chris doesn't deserve this. So I just want to say that Clay doesn't deserve this either.
No, he doesn't.
They're going both through some terrible, terrible shit. And it's honestly, the movie doesn't play it for the tragedy it is. It's fucking terrible.
It is.
But I don't think I would love this movie if the movie didn't go that far in these directions.
I think that's what makes it. We had to go back just a tad, and we don't need to spend a lot of time on this, but when she's gathering up all her items, she goes into her shed, and that's when she grabs some ice skates, and then and Mrs. Ganoush's character comes out, and they fight a little bit. What happens? Does she go to punch her, and her hand goes into her mouth, like almost like she's swallowing it or something?
No, I think Ganoush punches Chris, and her mouth goes into Chris's mouth.
Sorry, my bad.
And then, so what happens is she's like suffocating, I guess. She grabs the ice skates, and then suspended by a rope above her is an anvil.
Yeah, convenient.
Yeah, and again, this is, this movie's a cartoon in a way.
Yeah.
She cuts the rope with the ice skates, and then the anvil drops down on the fake Ganoush.
Yeah.
Or the demon Ganoush, or the spirit Ganoush, the ghost Ganoush, whatever.
Yeah.
And the anvil squishes the head. It squishes it. It doesn't like break it or anything, or explode it.
Which is very much like you said, like a kind of a cartoon.
Yeah, it squishes it, and the eyes pop out. And I just remember seeing this in theaters back in 2009, seeing it again not too long ago, and again, for this. And it's just looking very, very awkward.
It does. It doesn't look good. This is the one scene in the movie that I wish they would have redone.
It looks bad.
I wish almost they would have gone more practical. Because Sam Raimi could have done some practical effects on that, and it would have looked so much better. Rewatching it again today, it just looks bad. Like it doesn't look good.
They should have used a puppet with like a bunch of like, I don't know, anything different.
Anything would have looked better than what that looked like. It just looks terrible.
I feel like maybe if they had more time, they went back and reshot it. It would have been way better. Who knows why that didn't happen. Yeah. 'Cause I'm pretty sure when they were looking at it, they also probably thought this doesn't look good, but we need to get it out.
Yeah.
There's just no way people were happy with that. That's pure speculation. So I'm probably wrong, but it just looks really, really bad, especially when Sam comes from, practical effects. I mean, Evil Dead was all practical. Man. Both Evil Deads were all practical.
Yeah, I mean, he does them so well. That's what I mean. And we've talked about this before. I am a true believer of the practical effect. I understand why they don't do it. I understand money, time, all this other stuff, and it's probably a lot more difficult. But I love practical effects. I mean, the Thing is one of my all-time favorite movies, and the practical effects in that is groundbreaking. I mean, you look at it now and it still looks phenomenal. Like, how the hell did they do those?
There's a different effect when you have a physical thing happening in the frame, because you knew it existed in real life and was interacted with in the real life, and it just has a different effect than a digital effect will.
Yeah.
There's a different type of artistry going on. Digital artists have their work cut out for them. Yeah. And they have, no offense to that, where they have people like you denouncing them
not trying to
at every turn.
Them. Look, there's a place for CGI. Just don't make it look too CGI'd. That scene looked way too CGI'd. It just didn't look
good.
And
it was probably like a time issue.
Probably. You're probably right.
The people who were given, hey, we have the special effect here. You have like a month to get it done. That's probably what happened.
And honestly,
or maybe even less time than that.
Rewatching it again, I almost felt like the scene really wasn't even necessary.
No, because it's happening when she's already been motivated to do this anyway.
Exactly. She's already, look, I'm already going to raise this 10 grand. I need this to end.
You make a good point. This scene could have been cut and the movie wouldn't have lost anything.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah. But they get her boyfriend pays for the 10 grand. He drops her off at the psychic. What is this? The medium? What is she? A spiritual guide?
We'll just call her like a seer.
Yeah, and this is the woman from the beginning of the movie. The house is now older, kind of run down. That's 40 years later.
A seer, medium. Yeah. Her name's Sean Sandina. Probably like destroying the pronunciation there.
Yeah, we'll just call her the medium.
Or the Exorcist in this case. That's what she's basically doing.
The Exorcist. Yeah, we could call her that.
Or a demon killer. Yeah. She's also trying to do that.
Yeah, so she's
not good at it.
Yeah, they go through the whole spiel of what's gonna, transpire. There's 4 people. There's the Exorcist or the medium. There's Christine. There's the psychic. What's his name? Ram Jaz. And then I don't know. I forget the other character's name, but he seems to be kind of like almost like an assistant or something.
Yeah, he's an assistant.
Yeah. So
or like a medium in training. We're not quite sure.
Yeah. So they're, she's explaining how this is going to go down. We're going to start this. We're hoping to get Lamia is going to enter my body. At that point, I need you to put, my hand on this goat. They bring this goat out, and and basically Lamia is going to transfer into the goat. We're going to kill the goat. You're golden, right?
Yep.
That's the master plan. But of course, we're not going to get that.
No, Chris doesn't get any sort of easy way out.
No,
this is a hard way out. Presumably, it costs $10,000. There's mortal danger. But of course, it's not going to work out for Chris.
No.
This entire movie is how do we put Chris in a situation where it seems like she's going to be okay, and then pull the rug out from under her and say no. Sorry, Chris. You need to find another solution.
There's a lot of letdowns on her.
Yeah, Chris gets it rough in this movie.
She does.
So things go awry. The Lamia. Well, you know what's cool is we get a bunch of cool
there's a cool
spirits and stuff.
Yeah,
almost like a 13 Ghost type of situation.
Yeah.
Where we just kind of see a bunch of different stuff pop up.
Yeah.
The one we really get a good look at is some lady from the 1850s who's some bourgeois
Yeah.
And she looks very fancy, and she's like a weird ghost type character.
Yeah.
But there could easily be like a whole franchise of Drag Me to Hells where we just like look at different spirits.
True.
Like fucking with people in some like goofy, wacky way.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I wish we got that, but you know,
That's
Sam
okay.
Raimi's kind of like a one and done type of dude outside of the Spider-Man movies and the Evil Dead movies.
Yeah, but it's a cool scene. You know, all these spirits are essentially kind of come through this door, but that's not the one we're looking for. We're looking for Lamia. So the medium, and essentially she I don't know, says something, they all disappear, and then we get Lamia. Lamia enters the medium. You know, she starts, I don't know, screaming, whatever, you know, throwing some, you know, saying stuff. And then, you know, Chris is finding the opportunity to grab the hand and put her on the goat, which she does. And it transfers in the goat, which is, this is vintage Sam Raimi too.
The goat calls her like a cheating bitch or something.
Isn't that such a great, I mean, that effect was so damn cool. I almost wish we got more of the goat.
Yeah, me too. I almost wish the goat was black too.
Did you?
It was a white goat.
It was a white goat. I don't know. I didn't care. I didn't care what color. I just thought I wanted to see more of the goat. But the assistant goes to kill the goat. Of course, the goat moves. He cuts the cuts the rope. The shit starts to go.
I was so pissed off when I saw this in 2009. I was like, it was right there, dude. You had one job. Swing the machete at the goat, and that's it. The movie's over. Yeah. How do you fuck that up? The goat's not moving. It can't move anywhere. Just hit the goat. And then, the Lamia gets the rope cut, touches the guy, or he bites the guy. Yeah. And then the guy basically turns into like a deadite.
Yeah. Again, vintage Sam Raimi. This has his stamp all over it.
Starts floating, starts dancing in the air. I love the dance.
The dance so almost goofy. Reminds me of Beetlejuice. Yeah, a little bit. At the
ending of Beetlejuice with Winona Ryder dancing in the air.
Yeah, kind of like that. Some cool shit is said. Some cool shit is done.
Lamia gets away, banished by the medium.
Yeah.
Nothing goes right, and then the medium dies.
The medium dies, you know, and Christine in her head is thinking, oh, cool. Yeah. It sucks that she's dead, but I'm okay.
Everything worked out for me, okay.
Yeah, but no, sorry, it's not that easy. And
again, this isn't Chris's fault.
No.
She's dealing with a problem that came to her because she wanted a promotion for a loan extension she probably would have said no to anyway. This all sucks, but it's all because Ganush is a really shitty person.
Yeah.
Ganush is a very shitty person, and the world sucks because people like Ganush exist in it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work. And then the other guy, the original seer that we're introduced to.
Ram Dass.
Thank you.
Ram Dass basically is like, look, you need to take the button, the cursed item, and you need to get rid of it.
Give it to someone else. Make them claim ownership. Yep. The reason I didn't tell you beforehand is because you're dooming them to an eternal damnation where their soul is going to be tortured for all of time.
And
I will be an accomplice to that.
Exactly. So, she goes to looks like like a diner or something, and she's looking around and she's drinking coffee and she's pondering what the hell she's going to do.
She's looking at the people and the patrons. There's a couple, a loving couple, not too dissimilar from her and Clay. There's an old man who looks like he's on his way out anyway. Maybe she'll give it to him. So she stands up, starts to walk over there, and then she stops, and then she sees that this old man, he's like a respite. He's like a sad old man, you know.
Looks like
he's enjoying his time with his elderly wife. These are people in the last legs of life still enjoying their time. She says no. She calls Stu, make him come over there, saying, I know what you did with that file, motherfucker, when that fell through. She goes to give him the envelope, and then he's basically crying, saying, please don't tell my dad. Please don't tell our boss that I fucked with the file and we lost that account because of me trying to fuck you over. And then she just finds him so pathetic that she says no. But see, this is where Chris was driven to this point to do that, but she's not so shitty that she would actually do this to anyone.
Yeah.
And so she finds a way around this. What's a loophole for this? And it's, give it back to Ganush.
But we got a little ahead of ourselves. So her and her boyfriend were driving in the car after the whole situation. Yes, at the medium, and they're driving, and then they almost hit. She sees an image of Mrs. Ganush, but it's an old man walking across the way.
Like, you'll go to hell.
Yeah, you'll go to hell. But then
Asshole.
all the stuff, all the paperwork flies onto the it flies in. He slams on the brakes. All the envelopes, paperwork goes onto the
envelopes get switched out.
Switched up.
The coin with the button.
Yeah, because
we don't know this yet.
We don't. But it's important because
she loses the envelope.
Yeah.
She finds it mixed along with all this stuff. Oh, thank God I have the envelope.
Yeah.
And then she tries to give it away.
Because that's important. And we got a little ahead of ourselves on that. So she she decides, okay, I'm not going to give it to just a random person. I'm not going to give it to Stu. Talks to Ram Dass about, hey, can I gift this thing back to her?
And he's like, I think that will work.
And
then she goes to the graveyard, and then she digs up Ganesh's body.
Yeah. Before we get a handkerchief scene again.
Do we really?
Yeah, we get the handkerchief scene hits
in the car,
impairs her driving.
Stops her right at the cemetery.
It's right at the cemetery.
Oh yeah, I love this part because the handkerchief goes into her mouth and she like catches it the very last little centimeter with her fingers and her thumb, and she pulls it out,
almost like a magic trick.
Yeah, like a clown. Yeah, it's really cool.
So we pans up. We're at Oakwood Cemetery. She starts immediately digging up Mrs. Ganush's body.
It's raining and thunder and all that.
Yeah.
And then she grabs the envelope. She never opens it. She just knows a little round object in there. And she says like, I, Chris, blah, 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 hereby give to Ganush, blah, 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 formerly Esquire. And she sticks it in her mouth. And she says, take it, bitch, more or less. And she won.
Well, she thinks she won.
There's a little trouble with the grave filling up with water and her getting clocked in the head with a gravestone.
Yeah.
But she comes out on top.
She comes out and
she wins.
Yeah, you're like, shit, I beat you.
Yeah, and now they're about to go on holiday she's meeting Clay at the train station.
Yeah,
everything works out.
Everything works out. They're going to go away on a trip to Santa Barbara. They're going to take the train, go stay at a cabin. Everything's good. Oh, and don't forget, she's showering in the morning, gets a telephone call from her boss. He's leaving a voicemail. Hey, this is what happened. We caught Stu in a lie. He admitted he stole the file. By the way, you're getting that promotion. Everything is good.
Everything's working out for Chris finally.
Finally, after all the shit she's gone through.
And then
everything's looking up.
Clay has a ring that she's going to propose.
He's going to propose.
That she doesn't see yet because he's at the station by himself. She stops by and grabs a nice blue jacket.
Yeah, it looks like a very kind of fancy.
Yeah, it's a nice little pea coat or something, or like an overcoat.
Yeah. Actually very pretty.
Very
pretty.
Everything is working out for Chris and the movie ends. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah, right.
Credits roll and then Drag Me to Hell title card pops up.
Yeah, nope.
All right, so this movie wouldn't be as effective without the ending.
No.
Sam Raimi and Ivan that 2-minute introduction. We know exactly what's going to happen in the movie. There's a promise in the title, Drag Me to Hell. She's being dragged to hell.
Yeah.
So we find out before Chris proposes, before Clay proposes, Chris says, it was wrong of me to deny Ganesh the extension of the loan. I could have. Yeah. But it was selfish of me not to, and it was wrong.
Yeah.
I think the movie is wrong to say that. I don't think she was morally wrong here. And I think the movie is actually overstepping its argument here. I don't think she was. And I will I will on my dying breath deny that.
I think it's her like moment of almost like clarity in a sense. I felt like I beat this old lady. I beat this damn demon. And I feel really good. Things are looking up for me. I'm just going to put everything out there. I could have given her the extension. I just want you to know that.
And I think that would work if the ending doesn't do what it does. Because it doesn't matter if she learns a lesson if she's still punished for it.
Exactly. So he compliments her on the jacket. Where's your other jacket? Oh, and he goes, oh, by the way, here's the button for your jacket.
Well, he says, I think our envelopes got mixed up. This one has a button in it from your coat.
And of course she starts.
I think you have mine with the coin.
Yeah.
And then here's the big twist in the film. The last gut punch, the last scene where the movie is fucking with Chris again and saying, you thought this was fixed, but it's not.
Yeah.
And then, it's sunrise on the third day. That's when
yes.
Lamia grabs your soul.
we know all hell, no pun intended, is coming for breaking loose here.
She freaks out. She falls onto the train tracks, and then the earth starts opening up below her. As the train is coming, we think, okay, well, he's freaking out. Oh, you're going to get hit by the train. No. that would probably be better for her. But no, she gets she gets dragged to hell. And
that's such a cool ass scene.
Yeah. Her face kind of like turns into like this weird zombie type
almost like ash,
thing
almost like ash, right? Like maybe she's being burned.
Like she's drying up almost.
Yes. Like almost and then, it's such a powerful scene.
The music is going into high gear, violins everywhere. The sound effects are going crazy. Lots of booming. She is screaming like, help me, please help me. And then Justin Long, he's powerless here. He can't do anything. So he just has to stare at her, witnessing something he never believed in. As he's also witnessing the woman he's about to propose to be sucked into hell. It's honestly one of the dark, when you like lay it down like that, it's one of the darkest endings we've ever come across.
Yes, it is.
To this day. If this movie was not as fun as it was, this would be extraordinarily depressing.
It would be.
And Chris doesn't deserve this. Clay doesn't deserve this. Ganesh is a huge fucking asshole. I just can't begin to describe how angry I am about Ganesh. I think she sucks. I think she's one of the most villainous characters from her pettiness that we've ever seen in film.
But
she's so effective as a character.
It is. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. It does what it's supposed to do. It's a bummer. It's a true bummer, and it's a very powerful ending. It's a bummer, and the look on his face. I mean, it's of
Justin Long almost deserves an Oscar nom for that face. He's so distraught and in pain, and there's so much expression going on there.
Yes.
We don't see Justin Long these days very often, but his performance here, even though he doesn't have much to do besides being like the doting boyfriend, just for that one scene alone makes me wish we had way more Justin Long. And I never saw Tusk.
I did.
Yeah, maybe at some point we'll talk about it.
Yeah, it was good.
But I love him in this ending shot. Yeah, he's so good in it.
He is good. It's so many different emotions on his face. And he conveys it all very, very well, So and then we get the drag me to hell, the ending. It's like, that's it.
Yep.
It's like
almost like we got that 2-minute scene, but for like 90 minutes now.
Yeah.
It's a nice little punctuation. We get the violins. Movie's over.
Yeah. He's totally like, we're just left to go. And I remember seeing this in the theater going, are you serious? This is, not that I wasn't happy with the ending. It was cool, but I'm like, damn, she got screwed over. Everything about what, it's just, yeah. I mean, we could keep talking about how she didn't deserve any of it, and she didn't, but it was a great ending to a great movie, a fun movie.
If she got away scot-free, I probably wouldn't hold this movie in such high regard.
Yeah.
The movie just makes me feel so many different things.
Yeah.
Almost specifically because it goes there with the ending.
Yeah.
Because it makes me hate it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, ironically, making me hate that ending makes me love the movie.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's so powerful.
Because,
it's a great like exclamation mark to this weird film.
Because what I've noticed about a lot of horror movies, especially over the last, say, 10, 15 years is they have good ideas, decent stories, some good kills, some cool effects, but they always seem to blow it at the end. I don't, and I'm not going to say every single time, but a majority of the time, they seem to blow it. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's a money issue, if it's we ran out of time issue. I don't know what it is, but I've seen it in so many movies. This did not do that. This did not disappoint. It really delivered.
Yeah, I think this is one of Sam Raimi's best movies. I think Absolutely. It's one of my favorite of his. Yeah. And it's actually one of my favorite movies in the past like 15 or so years.
Yeah.
When it comes to horror films specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't rewatch movies very often. This is the third time I've seen it. I still have a ton of fun with it.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm looking forward to watching it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if I have kids, This is on top of the list for me.
Yeah. So, I mean, this usually at this point we ask if we would recommend it, but we already know we would. I mean,
hard yes.
Hard yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. You got to watch this movie. If you've never seen it, after you listen to this, oh man, you got to go and, I don't care, buy it, download it, whatever you need to do to find it.
I know we're like spoiling the entire film. People listen to these anyway, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just please watch it anyway.
Yeah,
it's that good. You're gonna have more fun watching the movie than you did listening to us.
You're not going to be disappointed with this movie. I would be shocked if I had ever. I've never talked to anyone who's watched this movie that didn't like it.
It has like a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. If we selling it doesn't do it for you, we'll check RT.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to say? I think we said just about everything.
No, I don't think there's anything we have not spoken about that I wanted to talk about. But I don't get gushy about movies. This is a movie I get gushy about.
Yeah.
So, if you've not seen this movie, do yourself a favor and please do.
Yeah, check it out for sure. Well, I guess that's going to do it for today's episode. Come back next week. We're going to be talking about a movie that you recommended, which is 2017's One Cut of the Dead. I'm looking forward to checking that out.
Me too.
All right. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow us at both Twitter and Instagram at Ear for Fear. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There you can purchase merch and stay up to date on current episodes as well as news and events. We hope you come back and get an earful. See you soon.